I published my first book, my memoir, The Daughter of the Innocent Man, in 2024. Since then, I have expanded my literary work to include a self-help book, a prompt journal, 2 children's books, and 2 coloring books. I'm an author, advocate, and speaker, and host of this podcast, Authors, Writers, and Wannabes, where I welcome weekly guests and empower fellow writers with insight, support, inspiration, practical advice, and encouragement as they navigate their creative journeys.
Oh, wow. Hello. So we're going to wait a couple of seconds before, maybe 30 seconds before we get somebody tuned in. And then I'll do the intro for the podcast. So this is our first podcast of Authors, Writers, and Wannabes. Now, I did have a podcast a couple of years ago, and it was totally different from what I'm doing now. But I'm excited. We have a guest named Tracy Lynn Pearson on air with us, and we are live. So this topic today is, do you want to write a book but don't know where to start? So today's episode is for every single person who's ever said one day, I'm going to write a book, but feel stuck on where to even begin. Whether you have a story on your heart, a message you're ready to share, or a dream that keeps tapping you on the shoulder, this episode is your starting point. We're breaking down the real steps to go from I wish I could to officially writing your book. We'll talk about finding your idea, building confidence, creating structure, choosing your publishing path, and everything in between. So I'm going to introduce myself. I am the host. And I'll go into more detail in a minute, but I wanted to introduce Tracy. And I chose her out of all of the forms that I received for this first episode. And she's going to tell you a little bit about herself. So there you go. Go ahead, Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy Lynn Pearson, and I am a mental health therapist and recently turned author, which I'm really excited about. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, and I currently live here in Omaha, Nebraska. And I really just wanted to write a book to kind of help fill a need that I saw in the literary world.
Okay, so you wrote a book, and what kind of book did you write, Miss Tracy?
It is a children's book, and it's specifically for children who are about 2 to 6 or maybe 8 years old. So it's for young children.
Okay.
And really, the book is really designed to kind of give the issue of separation kind of a conversation.
Right.
I could say that, like what made me think about writing this book is that I had a young person whose mom was going away for rehab treatment. And, a parent goes away and you just kind of tell the kid, I'll be back soon. But what does that really mean?
Right,
what I mean? Like they don't really understand what that means. They barely understand separation. So I wrote this book and I kind of expanded it for any audience. It could be for maybe a parent where a military parent is going away, or a parent has to go into the hospital for some time that they're sick, or might be, incarcerated for a short period of time.
Right. And this book is not yet out, correct?
It is not yet out, but it will be available for pre-sale in 2 weeks. I am so excited.
What's the date? What's the date on that pre-sale?
So the date will be January 20th. Sorry about that.
January 20th. So her book is available January 20th for pre-sale. And what is the name of the book?
It is called Until Mama Comes Home.
Okay, Until Mama Comes Home. And this is available on pre-sale on Amazon?
It will be available on Amazon and Ingram Spark. And people can also purchase it from the website. If you want an autographed copy, you should do it on the website.
And that would be your website?
That would be my website.
What's your website?
.com.
What is it? I'm sorry?
TracyLynnPearson.com.
Tracy, and that's TRACEY.
Yep, and Pearson is PEARSON.
Okay, cool. All right, so I wanted to go into why I chose the name of Authors, Writers, and Wannabes. And I don't think we discussed that when we met on Zoom last week, did we?
We did not.
Okay, so let's go into why I chose that name. So author, I believe an author is whether you are self-published or traditionally published. You have written this book from your heart, not have chosen AI to write you a book, okay,
Right.
and published it. That is not an author, I do not believe. Now, I
Right.
love AI, but not just to write a book. Now, you can
Right.
go in there and edit it like, hey, put me in some commas where I missed a comma, or
Yes,
capitalize a word that's supposed to be capitalized. But if you write a book with AI, you are not an author.
I
Okay?
agree.
I'll
I
say that.
agree. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the definition of an author to me. Okay, a writer is a person who has began to write a book or write a story and has not yet published. A wannabe is someone who's in the midst of things, right? Or who is wanting to, and that's what this episode is about, right?
Mhm.
Wannabe. So let me introduce myself. I'm Noelle. I'm the host of Authors, Writers, and Wannabes, and I wanted to create a path where we can come together, and I invite weekly guests on the show, and it is free. I can't believe someone asked me last week in a group, well, how much does it cost to, I know there's a catch. How much does it cost to be a guest? Absolutely free, okay? And I'm even letting Tracy, promote your book for free, okay?
Yes.
So
Yes.
to be a guest. I just have to choose you. You have to answer a form, a questionnaire, and then I have to choose you to be a guest on the podcast. So it's absolutely free, guys. Now, on the other hand, I do have an advertisement package that you can purchase if you wanted me to do like an ad for you on here for your book. So, and that's only $25. But if you want to do that, then that we can do that. If you want to be a host, if you want to be a guest, you can go on my website, noelletheauthor.com, and fill out the questionnaire. Okay. So I wrote a memoir back in 2020. Well, shoot. I started in 2018. It took me 5 years to complete this memoir. And the reason it took me a long time to complete this memoir is I wasn't ready to publish it. I was ready, but there was a piece missing from this memoir. And I found out during the last chapter in writing this memoir, it was piece that I was missing. Okay. So I finished it in 2024. I put it up for pre-sale. Well, yeah, put it up for pre-sale. Sold, I think, about 125 copies pre-sale. And that was in 2020. March of 2024 is when I published it. Now, I don't know if you ever heard, but my memoir is called The Daughter of the Innocent Man. So what I did to get my book into Barnes & Noble, I went into Barnes & Noble and said, hey, have you ever heard of this book? And this is a real book by John Grisham, The Innocent Man, right? So they were like, yes, I have heard that book. So I showed them this book. And I was like, well, I'm the daughter of the innocent man. I want my book in Barnes & Noble. They was like, no way. Okay. So that's how easy it was for me to get my book in Barnes & Nobles. A lot of people, are wondering, and in the groups that I post in, well, how did you get your book in Barnes & Nobles? Mine's in Barnes & Nobles too. Well, if you go through Ingram, your book is automatically on Barnes & Noble's website, but it's not in the store. So if you are a self-published author, you have to actually go into Barnes & Noble and pitch them to get your book in the store. So that's how I was able to get mine. And it's not in every store. It's in 2 stores, and I'm working on more. Amen. Amen. Ain't that right, Tracy?
That is absolutely right.
All right. So we are, and I've written a couple of children's books. It's not much. I did use AI for the cover. I didn't use AI to write it, but I used AI for the cover. And I'm thinking I'm wanting to redo those. I haven't paid for an illustrator, but Tracy has an interesting story about hiring an illustrator, and she'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. So first we're going to talk about what inspired you to write a book. And I think you already went into what inspired you to write your book, is that you're a mental health expert, right?
Yeah, I believe so. And wanting to find a way to use kid language to explain adult situations, which is kind of a challenge. Yeah.
So it's a lot of people out there who are wanting to write a book, but they don't know where to start. Well, my thing is, when I I know I wanted to write a memoir, right? And that was the first book. I know I wanted to write children's books. So like I said, my first book was the memoir, and I just started writing. I just started writing from my heart. I mean, whenever I felt compelled to write something, I would pick up a piece of paper that I found in the corner, or maybe I carried a notepad in my car. Tracy, she talked into her phone, right?
I did. I use technology in that way because
Yeah, yeah,
ideas would come while I was driving or, cooking or, I'm doing multitasking. And I just thought, okay, this is the way I want the story to go. So I recorded it myself
yeah,
saying it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for all you techie people out there, just pick up your phone or buy a recorder. You don't even have to buy a recorder nowadays. You can just pick up your phone, right?
Your phone will do it all.
Now,
Yes.
did you use an app on your phone?
No, I used the Notes app and I
Okay.
just hit the microphone and it did text or talk to text. So I didn't have to, I mean, when I went in to edit it, it was a lot easier for me to do because I actually had the words there. Yeah.
Right. Now I found it easier, and I'm doing something totally different now. I'm writing a romance novel now and a children's book it's not a children's book, it's for ages 9 to 12, 9 to 13, about adoption. But I'm writing that totally different than I wrote my memoir. I think that's why it took me 5 years to write that memoir, because I had it everywhere. It was on pieces of paper everywhere. Okay. Some was in my car, some was in my living room and in a box, some was in my bedroom. Some chapters I had typed up, but it gave me the opportunity to actually, and I didn't start out with an outline. Okay. Y'all, start out with an outline. An outline is when you name the chapters and put little pieces of information that you want in the chapters. Okay. I would advise an outline. Start with an outline. First, come up with what you want to write about, what kind of story you want. Do you want a fiction? Do you want a nonfiction? Do you want a romance novel? Do you want a children's book? Do you want to write a children's book? So just come up with what type of book you want to write. Okay. And then just start writing. Or if you're that type of person like Tracy, start talking in your phone. Okay. If you don't like typing, start typing something up, but when I wrote it all on pieces of paper, it gave me the opportunity to go back and edit it myself the first go round, right? And then actually put stuff together. So I wrote that book probably 5 times. I omitted some information. I went back and added some information. So that's why it took me a long time. And it was very an emotional journey for me, Tracy, I don't know if I told you, but I'm adopted. So did I tell you that?
You did not. You told me you were writing a book about adoption, but yeah.
So I'm adopted. So that's why, so it was a very emotional journey for me writing that memoir. But I got it published. I self-published it. So you want to figure out what route you want to go with self-publishing and traditional publishing too. And you got hybrid too. I'm opposed to a hybrid. I just am. That's just me. Google will be your best friend. Okay. Google.
Yes, it will.
Google. And you have a lot of people out there, hybrid and people who claim to be from KDP. There are no people from KDP that's going to contact you and say, hey, let me put a package together and charge you such and such, and I'll publish a book. That does not exist. And a lot of people are getting scammed. I'm reading in all of these groups that I'm in. There's a lot of scammers out there. Y'all better be careful. Okay. So figuring out what inspired you to write the book, figuring out what kind of book that you want to write, that's where you want to start. Okay. Right, Tracy? Do you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, I do agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So we're going to go into clarity and development. So explain how someone should figure it out, what their book and title should truly be about. And you went into that a little bit, right?
A little bit. Yeah. I think knowing that I wanted to write something, at first it was just to help one child. It was just, let me write a story that I can tell the child. And then I had to kind of play with it to make it into the book a little bit more. So I think trying to who is this book for? We write children's books that are for children, but children are at the bookstores purchasing books, right?
Right.
It's also we can't market to the children. We got to market to the parents. So
you can create a clever cover that's going to attract that child where it says, ooh, mom or dad, I got to have this book. you know?
Exactly. But no 2-year-old is standing there saying, "Hey, I want you to go buy me this book."
Right. So it's a
So I
storybook that the parent has to read to their child.
or a caregiver, a
Okay, right,
grandparent.
right.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
eventually, like a child could, once they could probably read, they could read it to themselves. But the idea is that they're being cared for, even though mom can't be there. So
right.
hopefully, there is a loving, compassionate person there.
And that's where you identified who your ideal reader is.
I did, and I
Yeah,
included information in the back of my book for that caregiver.
yeah,
So for that grandma or dad or mom who's, I don't know what to say and I don't know how to help my child through this, I wanted to provide some helpful tools there
yeah,
to,
yeah,
here's some activities you can do, here's some resources that are available.
yeah. So one of my children's books is from like age 0 to 7. It's an illustrated storybook. It's called what is it called? I Love You More Than Life Itself.
Oh,
So it's about a girl named Liza Jane. She asks her mama, Mama, why do you love me? That's what she looks up with her pretty brown eyes, her pretty brown, curious eyes, it says in the book. She looked at her mom and says, why do you love me? And throughout the book, it just says why the mom loves her so much, right?
yeah,
So that's a book that you can read to a newborn child. It's a book
absolutely.
that you can read to, your first grader, your kindergartner, whether it is a teacher that is in a classroom and doing a classroom
Mhm.
setting. Now, do you plan to go to, I think we talked about this before, didn't we? Do you plan to go to like schools or
I
somewhere
do. I
to have
do want to go to some schools and shelters, places where there might be a parent missing,
mm-hmm,
because I really want this book to find its right child. There's so
mm-hmm,
many wonderful children's books out there. I love children's books, and I read to my grandkids all the time. But this one is special because it's for a child who's already kind of struggling and
right.
feeling like something is missing.
Right. And we talked about it before when we did our meet and greet that you wanted to make it into a series, right?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
the Love Travels Far series. So
Yeah.
in the second
Oh,
one, the
cool.
dad will be gone for a longer period of time.
Uh-huh. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the first real step you think someone should take when writing a book?
I think writing down your basic idea.
Your outline?
Yeah, well, even before the outline, kind of like
Okay.
what's the theme? Because that's kind of what I started with. Okay, I want to write a book about a child who has a parent that's going away and she doesn't know when or if she's going to come back and
Hmm.
how she's okay
Okay.
because she has other people around her.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, just writing down that first idea and then you can break that into your outline.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Tracy and I, we are not specialists in writing books. Okay. We are just two people who use this platform to come and share ideas and suggestions and real advice, from a perspective of an author, because we're both authors. Whoop, whoop. Okay.
Yay.
I don't claim to be a professional author. I don't claim to be a professional writer. Hey, I may say some things that, hey, what is she saying? I may be all over the place. Okay. That's not in my book, but I'm just saying right now. Okay.
Yeah.
And I
think
told her, I said,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was just thinking, I think it's important to know that there's more than one way to do something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in writing our books, you wrote everything down. You had it on different pieces. It was a memoir for you. So
Right.
it was a part of your whole life. And
Right.
then for me, it was more like, okay, I need to find a way to get the story in. So it was in snippets on my
Yeah.
phone, but neither way is right or wrong. It's kind of what
Right.
works for you, right?
Right. Now, with these two other books that I'm writing, I did create an outline. I've got most of my chapters. I created a half outline. Okay. So I created a half outline for both of these books. And just going, I mean, because you're still going to have to edit. Okay? Before you send it to the editor, guys, you're still going to have to edit your book.
A lot of editing.
A lot of editing. Okay. So I put my memoir pre-sale, I think 2 months when I first began the editing process. So it took the editing 2 months. So I had sold like 120 books in 2 months when it was pre-sale, and that was during the editing process. I still went back this past December, Tracy, and yes, I did use a software, an AI software, to go in just to make sure, because some people that I know was like, hey, you still have some mistakes up in this book, I was like, do it, girl, what? I done read that book 10 times. And, when you're reading your own book, it's not the same as someone else reading your book. And they're like, oh, or there, THEIR, THEY, apostrophe RE. You know what I'm saying? It's totally different you reading your own book than someone else reading your book. And I did have a friend edit my book, but he is a very smart friend. Okay, he did miss some things, so I did go back this past December and used Grammarly. I did use Grammarly and say, Grammarly, will you please make sure I spelled everything correctly and punctuations where they're supposed to be. Okay. Sorry.
No, I paid for an editor because I have an author coach. I should shout her out. Author KJ, Kirsten Fessler. And she suggested that we find an editor for the exact same reason that you said. You can look at something 15 times, but it's your own, you're looking at you know what you mean in your head.
Right.
So, I went and on Fiverr and you know my story with Fiverr. I've got some good and bad in there. And my first editor was horrible. My first editor took my book and I could tell, put it into AI. Because
did he rewrite it?
It rewrote the whole story. And I was like, this isn't what I'm trying to say at all.
Yeah.
And I was really angry and frustrated. And so then I found a different editor. And, she went through and found things, just a grammar check.
Right.
She did have a couple of things that she mentioned. She said, you have a phrase here. I don't know how that's going to play out in 10 years or so. And I thought, oh, that's good information to have.
Right.
So I do really suggest finding an editor because it gave me just some time away from it.
And I did, if I had found a professional editor, I wouldn't have had to go back and do what I did,
Yeah.
So I would suggest a professional editor too.
Yeah.
Also, too, let's tell your story about your illustrator.
Oh.
Because a lot of people in the groups, because I don't know how many groups you're in online, but on Facebook, I'm probably in about 10 author groups.
Yeah.
And I spend, y'all, 2 to 3 hours a night going through these author groups, commenting and just reading what people, and I know Tracy, was like, you spend that much time? I do.
I've gotten sucked in. There's been days that I feel like I spent 5 hours just going through and reading the thread of messages because it is a very interesting thing. So I did again, working with an author coach. I didn't start working with her until halfway through the process. I got the book, got it edited, dealt with the first editor, got a second editor, and then went to find an illustrator. And the illustrator promised not to use AI. One of the things you learn in these groups on Facebook is that, the AI artwork is a no-no, I guess.
Man, so many people are, they bash it. It's not that serious. Come on, guys. I mean, you would think that, oh my goodness, I'm reading some of the comments. It's like you want to reach through the screen and choke somebody because they're using AI.
I know. I think somebody got death threats before it. So it's like, So then I thought, I didn't realize that mine was AI. I love the artwork. I thought it was so beautiful, but I did think this is being done awfully fast.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was,
what was the turnaround time for you that first time?
4 days.
4 days.
4 days to a week. Yeah.
Now, did you give this illustrator a couple of pictures that you wanted to go off of?
I didn't.
An
I just
idea?
kinda described it to him, and I said I wanted the girl to look kind of like my granddaughter, and I wanted the grandmother to have silver hair,
Okay.
kind of like mine.
Okay.
And but what was coming out was this beautiful kind of what I want to call like a almost DreamWorks Pixar kind of artwork, and I thought, boy, this is beautiful. So I'm talking with KJ in a call, and she says, I'm worried it might be AI. Can I look at it? So I
Oh,
sent it to her, and she's like, "Oh, Tracy, I think," she said, and she said, "I don't want your book to get banned from Amazon and any place for using the AI." So I thought, "Oh, I didn't even realize that could happen." But then after she pointed it out, I started to notice like there were 8 fingers on one hand and 3 on one. I was like, "This doesn't even make sense." So I asked the author, "Can you go back and fix it?" And the girl, like, there's a couple of scenes with her bedroom. The bed is never the same.
mm.
The teddy bear looks different in each
You
one.
wanted consistency.
No consistency whatsoever.
Okay.
And what I was frustrated about was that this was not cheap. And
I don't even want to ask you how much you
yeah,
paid.
it was over $500 for something
Ooh,
that I could not even
for
use.
something that you could have done.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
I don't know how to do that part, but I probably could have just said to chat,
yeah,
"Can you create a picture for me?"
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I mean, it was heartbreaking too. So then I had the moments of, you already have the imposter syndrome, right? Like, should I even be doing this? Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I've already spent, like 700 and some dollars trying to make this work, and it didn't.
Oh,
And so I felt foolish. There was shame involved, and I
yeah,
kind of had to work myself out of that,
yeah.
to that, no, this book still needs to get out there. And then it gave me good questions to ask. So I went back to the group on Facebook and said, okay, I've been taken by it and by an illustrator, and I need help. So
Yeah.
that's when I kind of found my new illustrator. And I moved very slowly.
Okay. So you did find a good illustrator in one of the Facebook groups.
I did. Yes. I
Oh, okay.
actually found 2. Um,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know it's a lot. Because I've had people inbox me and send me like videos and clips of what they've done, and I'm like, that don't look like I could have done that.
Yeah.
But it's a
Yeah.
lot
I
of
had
it's
some
a lot of
bad
scams.
stuff.
It's a lot of scams in those groups too.
You
So
know,
y'all be careful. Y'all be
you
careful.
have to remember just to move, that nothing's going to move like overnight. And
Right.
with your own excitement, I had to calm myself down to make sure that like this was wise. My daughter is an attorney, so I kept going to her. Now, what do you think about this? Now, what do you think about this? What's my legal ground here?
Right.
Just trying
Right.
to get
Oh,
some
well,
help.
lucky you.
But
Lucky
she was
you.
very helpful.
Give me that daughter's number and name after
I
I get
will.
finished. I may need her for something.
Right, right.
Now, since we are talking about AI, our third episode this month will be AI, and I
Oh,
got a great guest. I got a great guest coming online for that one.
that'll
But since we are talking about AI right now, if you do use AI on KDP, when you go to self-publish, you have to list that you used AI,
Mhm.
whether it is text, whether it is images, or whether it is something else. You have to say how much you use, so don't go in there lying because they will ban you. Okay. A lot of people, maybe if they have used AI illustrations, or maybe you have used like this last in December when I used AI and when I used Grammarly to, go in there and correct punctuations for my book, right? I had to go back in there and resubmit, of course, my manuscript. I didn't resubmit my cover because it was going to be the same, but I had to resubmit my manuscript, and I had to tell tell KDP, yes, I did use AI for whatever I used it for, which is the punctuation, and how much I used it.
Mhm.
So don't go in there lying, guys. Okay.
Right.
If you are self-publishing through KDP. And I also want to say, don't limit yourself to KDP. A lot of
Right.
people now, if your goal is to publish a book, and that's what you just want to do. You don't care about sales. You just want to say you're an author. A lot of people just stick with KDP, and KDP is Amazon. Okay, let me
Yes.
clarify that. There is, and if you want to list your book digitally on other platforms, do not select KDP Select.
Mhm.
Also, do you know about that,
I do.
Tracy?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you select KDP Select?
No, I
Okay.
didn't. 'Cause I
Now,
want it to be free
yeah,
to.
because so if you want an option for your book to go to bookstores, and those things, you want to go through Ingram. That's
Mhm.
Ingram, Ingram Spark. Okay. Don't let someone come from Ingram Spark supposedly and say, "Hey, I got a package for you." That does not exist either. Okay.
Right.
Unless you actually reached out to them. Okay. So a lot of scammers out there. You can self-publish and only pay for the cover art. Okay. Or you can create a cover yourself. I don't highly suggest it unless you know what you're doing. I had my husband create the cover for my memoir. He's very artsy
Mhm.
in that area. So he did create the cover for my memoir. I did want to kind of like this one, the other book, The Innocent Man, my father's book. But like I said, there's people are also saying, "Hey, I don't have any money to self-publish." You don't need any money to self-publish.
Right.
You don't need money to self-publish. You can use go on Fiverr, get you
Yep.
an editor,
Yep.
go on Fiverr, and get you an artist. Okay, what are you out? What, $500?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
would
I
do that.
think that so the illustrations are a little bit more depending on how many pages you have.
Right, unless
But if you're
you're
just
doing a
starting
children's
out,
book and
yeah,
you
if it's
need
not a children's
illustration.
book, it's very inexpensive.
Yes, it's very inexpensive to self-publish. Now, you can do a pre-sale, baby. That's what I did. A pre-sale, get you some orders in, and then go and order your books from Amazon. Okay.
Mhm.
There's your money to order your books right there. When you upload to KDP, you go in after it is approved, go in there and get you some author copies. Okay.
Mhm.
And pre-sale and get your author copies by your pre-sale money.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. Okay. Let's see. So you want KDP, Amazon, that's Amazon. Ingram Spark if you wanted like global distribution, if you want, because I got books that's on Ingram, my children's books and my memoir. And what else do I have? I have my journal on there
Mhm.
as well. So I have everything that I have on KDP, which is Amazon, I have on Ingram. And I have books that are selling in the UK, girl. I have books that are selling in I mean everywhere, you know. So you can do Ingram Spark and books. I had one person buy 6 or 7. I'm assuming it's a bookstore, but it won't tell you if it's a bookstore or not. Yeah. Okay. And you also want to, and write this down, y'all, if you're new to this. Draft to digital. Okay. Research it. Draft to digital. Okay. That is all of your digital. So libraries can get your copies from draft to digital and stuff like that. So I would recommend Ingram Spark, the 3. Ingram Spark, KDP, which is Amazon, and then draft to digital. Also, if you want to do, because I did my memoir audio, I used, what is it? In audio, in audio. What is it? What did I use? You know what I'm talking about, Tracy?
I do not.
I use in audio. Just type in audio. Okay.
Okay.
In the browser, Google is your best friend. Okay. Google is AI, by the way.
Yes, it is.
So Google that in audio. So what I did on in audio, I created a cloned voice of mine for my memoir. I didn't tell you that, Tracy.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I created a clone voice of mine. So what in audio has you do is and sign up. This is what I made a mistake of. I did the cheapest one, and ended up spending $300 for this audiobook when I could have only spent $99. Okay. So choose the $99 one. Okay. And that's all you're going to have to spend on your audiobook is $99 on in audio. Okay. So I did like a 30, I did it like a 30-second. I read from my book like 30 seconds. It asks you to create like 30 seconds of voice work, right?
Okay.
And then it clones your voice, and you get to pick like these different clone voices, right?
Oh, wow.
And then you upload your manuscript, your chapters, and then it actually, you can do it a little high pitcher if you want, a little more high pitch, maybe a lower pitch. You can slow it down if you want to, because I know I talk fast. You can slow it down if you want to. You can speed it up if you want to. And it creates this book. And it flows over to Spotify.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
Yes, girl, write this down.
Yes.
Yeah, write it down, girl. It flows over to Spotify and some other audio labels. It does not flow over to what's that other one, Tracy?
Are you thinking
Audible?
Audible? Yeah.
It does not. It does not. Audible will be separate.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And that's the Amazon one as well, right? Audible.
I don't know because I haven't done.
Yeah, I think it's Amazon.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because I haven't done Audible on Amazon. Audio on Amazon. 11 Labs. That's what I mean. 11 Labs. Go to 11 Labs, and it's in audio. Okay. And I think you spell it. Go to my website on this computer. I think you spell it ELEVAN Labs. That's how you spell 11. Okay. And it uses the platform in audio. Let's see, what else are we talking about? What else are we talking about, Tracy? Because you know I'm all over the place.
No, you're fine. I feel like this was a good conversation.
You know I'm all over the place, girl. With me and Tracy met y'all last week. I told her I got ADD, or is it ADHD? I said, girl, I'm gonna be all over the place. So I may talk about something 5 seconds, and then 5 seconds later, I'm talking about something else, and then I may join them together, girl.
No, I think it's a good conversation.
Okay, thank you, girl. Thank you, girl. Okay, so what are common mistakes new authors make when starting out, you think?
Well, I think paying for an illustrator without having all of the information would be one. But I do think jumping in and like you just described, paying the $300. Like, I think a new author probably pays for more things because you don't know what you really need. And I assumed it was going to be expensive. I kind of felt like I saved for this. So, I was ready to spend. I knew that there was a budget and I was going to spend money. But I think like just trying to rush to print and rush to the end, because you do get a little bit of decision fatigue, or at least I did.
Yeah.
I felt like at one point when we were talking about the cover, I was just like, just pick a cover. I don't care anymore. Like it was so much of like what the reader will pick, and what I thought I just had a story to tell. That's all I had. I didn't think I was going to have all of these details to decide on.
I think two would be being impatient.
Mm-hmm.
2, writer's block. Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Yes.
Writer's block. And that is going to be the 5th episode, y'all.
Yeah. Because I experienced that in this writing the second book.
Did you?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, I almost skipped the second and went to the third because I felt like I knew what I wanted to say in that one. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that, though. You could still go back to 2, right? No, there's nothing wrong with it. In my head, it was supposed to go a certain way, but no, there's nothing wrong with it. It may not go a certain way. It may, it may not. That is so life, right? We have something in our mind of how we think it's supposed to be. Yeah, maybe if you have this outline of 12 chapters, okay? And that's what I did too. I wrote the first 2 chapters. I wrote these chapters and ended up at the last minute. I had ordered my author copy. My on Amazon you can order the copy to the, what is it, proofread copy or something? Yeah, the author. I call it the author's copy. Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, no, this chapter should be on this chapter 9 should be chapter 3. So,
Yeah.
girl, I redid it again,
Yeah.
because I'm like, no, these chapters are out of order. Because I was
Right.
reading, I
Right.
was like, no, this should have gone first. So it's okay to outline, to give yourself an outline, and then go from chapter 1 to maybe chapter 9 and start writing chapter
Mhm.
9, right?
Absolutely.
You may think some of the stuff in chapter 9 should be in chapter 2. It's okay,
Right.
just write, right? And you can reorganize that later. What you
Yeah.
say?
It'll make itself clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll make itself clear. Yeah. Um, let's see. Ooh, so so you said that you experienced writer's block, correct?
Mhm.
I did too. And I'm experiencing writer's block now with my two books that I'm writing. And maybe because I'm writing 2 books at the same time, and I'm like, Noelle, maybe you should just focus on one.
No, that's
But
interesting.
that's not how my brain works.
Right. Right.
So, how did you deal with writer's block or self-doubt while you were writing?
You know, so I have little faces that I feel like I'm writing the books for.
Ooh.
Um, so I just kind of, like I have a cute little picture in my phone of these kids that I felt like this is their story and I wanted to tell. And then with the second book, as a mental health therapist, I also have the option of sometimes going into the jails and doing mental health therapy there for people who are in jail, and talking with some parents who are incarcerated.
Mm.
That's the face that I felt like got me out of the writer's block. So kind of immersing myself in it, if you will.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and just kind of remembering like this is who the story is for. It's not my story. I guess once I give up some ownership of it, it kind of begins to come together.
yeah. You
Yeah.
go back to, hey, what am I doing? Who am I writing
What's
this for?
my
Right?
why? Yeah. What's
Right.
my
Who am
why?
I?
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about the W's, right? We
We
talked
did.
about the
We
W's.
did.
The what, why, where, when, and
Mhm.
the how.
So,
No?
yeah.
The W's. Yeah. What are you writing this for? Why are
Mm,
you writing it? Who are you writing it for? Right?
yes.
So,
Mhm.
I mean, I wrote my memoir to basically touch the lives of adoptees, right?
Yeah.
Because I originally started writing it, and it was going to be the name, "The Life of an Adoptee." So that's what I originally was going for, to let adoptees know that we are loved, that everything
Yeah.
that we have gone through, the abandonment issues, the feeling unloved, I mean, all of that we go through, the mental health issues that we
Yeah.
face. I'm sure you see a lot of adoptees or people who
Mhm.
have gone through the system, right?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and we don't know that, that was passed down to us. Most of, right? And
Right.
we don't even know where we come from. So we can't, identify with, oh, my mother was bipolar or my father was schizophrenic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
Right.
we don't know. We trying to figure out, hey, why is my brain doing the things that it's doing? And why am I thinking the things that I'm thinking? And not to even, consider that, man, this is this is being passed down to me.
Right.
Um, so with the writer's block, I just go back to, you know, I want to touch people's lives, no matter, like the prompt journal that I wrote. It was about, people who have gone through a breakup or a separation or a divorce. The healing journey. It's going to take time, but you can heal from it. And start over and start putting yourself first and start loving yourself first.
Yeah.
So my thing is, when I get the writer's block, yeah, I go back to, okay, why am I writing this? Who am I writing
Yeah.
this for? I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it
Right.
for somebody else. Um, so we talked about what a simple book outline should be, right? Naming your chapters. Chapter 1. So like in my book, and I had already had my titles outlined. So like in chapter 1 is growing up. Chapter 2 is Daddy's Little Girl. Chapter 3 is Stripper Life, Raw and Uncut. Oh yeah, I used to be a stripper girl. Woo! Okay. Chapter 4 is Finding My Birth Mother. Chapter 5 is Motherhood. Chapter 6, The Quest for Love, Fear, Pain, and Healing. Chapter 7 is Mental Health. Chapter 8 is 10 questions. So I asked 8 adoptees the same 10 questions. Yeah.
Okay.
And I have that in there. Chapter 9 is Career as a Dance Instructor, Choreographer. Chapter 10 is Finding My Birth Father. Chapter 11 is Finding Peace and Stability. So like I said, I could like it took me 5 years to write this book because it was a piece missing, and that piece was peace.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes.
So
What a healing journey, you know?
Yeah. So that's what I did, y'all, was write out that outline with my 12 chapters. And then just next to it, just what do I want to include? Just maybe, 3 little things that I want to include in those chapters, and just, start writing, I have a guy friend, he's like, man, and he'd be like, what are you doing? He'll text me or something. He'd be like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, writing. He was like, I commend you so much. You always write. I mean, how do you get right? How do you just start writing? I'm like, baby, this brain of mine just goes overload.
Right.
I just want to start writing stuff, Girl,
It does, doesn't it? Yes.
I can be in my room writing at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when I write best.
Mm-hmm.
I can be on my laptop and I just start writing. And it just flows and it just comes to me, maybe that's not your time of day to write. Now, if you're tired and your brain don't think at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you write, okay?
Well, what you described in terms of the outline and stuff, I think that's the same even with the children's book, because, even though it doesn't have chapters, there was kind of the beginning where, okay, what's happening and what's going on, what happens before that. And it is like each page, you're still kind of outlining it together.
Yeah, right. We got so publishing pathways. I think we talked about that. So knowing the difference between self-publishing and traditional publishing. So even if you self-publish, you can still go and try to find a traditional publisher. Now you have to find an agent. Okay. I had posted in a group like 3 weeks ago. I think it's time for me to start looking for a traditional publisher. And girl, the backlash that I got. What do you mean that you're trying to find a traditional publisher after you've self-published? You can't do that. And such and such and such and such and all of this stuff. You have to sell 10,000 copies in order to find a traditional publisher for them to pick you up. Your story must be such and such. And it was just so negative, but I don't like to let the negativity, affect me. I know I have a story.
Absolutely.
And this is my story. So, I wasn't trying to find a traditional publisher at first. I wanted to publish it, right? And it has its advantages and disadvantages of traditional publishing and self-publishing. Self-publishing, you own all of your stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to go by what somebody tells you that you have to do. Now you have to market yourself more.
It's all on you, though. Yes.
It's all on you. As a traditional publisher, you get an advance.
Right. And you have a whole department that's doing that for you.
Right. So, which way do you want to go?
Right.
Right. If AI has written a book, baby, please don't try to traditional publish.
Oh, no.
That is not a good idea. You do want to have your book edited. Okay. Because they will probably, I think some agents maybe ask for the first 3 chapters. Some may want the whole book. Don't approach an agent and without it being edited. I would suggest. Okay.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, be ready. Be ready for the ready. Be ready before you have to get ready. Is that what they say? Yeah.
Yep.
But there's nothing bad with self-publishing. Some people may think that, ooh, you're self-publishing. Ooh, you can't find a traditional publisher. No. It has its advantages of self-publishing. All rights are yours. Okay. Now, with your series, do you think you'll want to traditionally publish?
I don't know. I have thought about it. I do have a friend that has a friend that's an agent and has suggested that I look at a traditional route. So. But I do like that the story is mine. And, you know, in this field, in this day and age now, I see so many other therapists and, you know, people who are writing their own and
Mm-hmm.
publishing. I don't think it has the same negative connotation that it used to.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
how this goes.
Now, do you? I don't think that we talked about where do you live? You don't have to tell me like what
Omaha
city.
right now, Omaha, Nebraska right now, but
Oh,
I'm
really?
Detroit,
Okay.
Michigan. Yeah,
Okay. I'm out of the Dallas area.
that's right. You did
So,
tell me that. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Omaha, Nebraska. Girl,
Omaha,
what's in Nebraska?
Nebraska. Girl, I'm not sure how I got here, but I'm here.
So, do you have your own health, mental health facility or office or?
I do. Yeah, restoration
Nice.
counseling is my
Okay.
right.
And look, you can put up a little bookshelf, you know,
I
with your
could.
books
That's my book
there.
on it. Yes.
Oh, look at that. And say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a published author. Would you like to buy one of my books?
Right, right.
All right. So I think we touched on the cost writers should expect when publishing a book. Like, just y'all be careful with scams and people saying they from such and such. And you'll even have I think I even was contacted by like a New York writers something.
I was too.
And they tried to sell me, you know, a book deal.
Me too.
Girl.
I called
I was
one
like, that's
person
pretty
and I got 8
pricey.
phone calls. Yeah, like
You know, and us and writers who don't know, we gonna fall for it because we want to sell our books, right?
Right.
We want to market our books. We want to put our books out there in front of eyes, you know, and we buy into that. Okay,
We do.
we do.
I would encourage you to encourage authors to follow like author KJ she's on Instagram, and you can follow her on Instagram for free and get a lot of helpful tips. And you know, there's a couple of other authors as well. And I think, you know, like in getting in these groups that we're in and really I mean, you do have to deal with some of the negativity as we talked about, but this is where we find out more information, and you really can connect with someone like Noelle, who is, you know, in this podcast, sharing that with other authors, I think is an important tool to kind of break down the mystery behind it, you know, so that we can all get better.
Yeah. But yeah, that's another reason I created this platform, you know?
There's so much room. There's not competition. Like you can't, like, you know, a lot of times people think I don't want to share my secret because then other people will get, but why not? There's room for all of us. We're not telling the same story. So, you know, we can share with other people and help somebody else along.
Right. What makes your book stand out? You know, it's so many hundreds of thousands of books coming out a day, you know, on Amazon. And like I said earlier, do not limit yourself to Amazon. Don't. You ain't gonna make no money. Okay.
Right.
And it's not gonna reach who it needs to reach. I mean, go to all different platforms, you know. Don't just limit yourself to Amazon.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're gonna have to wrap up, girl. We got 7 minutes, girl.
Okay.
For marketing and visibility, I don't think we talked about that. Next week we will next Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we will discuss Marketing 101.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not going to go too much into marketing, but marketing, yes, is a process of publishing a book, especially self-publishing a book. You don't have to market the heck out of yourself, okay? Should you, now, you should, I believe, start marketing yourself before your book comes out. I started making posts 2 years before because I thought I was finished. Okay.
Right.
I started putting myself out there 2 years before I even published my book. And that's how I got so many pre-sales, you know.
That's exactly what the author coaches tell you. So you're right. Because you want to get as many pre-sales to get Amazon and Katie Publishing to market that as sales on your first day.
Now, okay, so I did not do that. I did not do pre-sales on Amazon. I did pre-sales on my website. I created me a website and I go in there and update it myself on a daily basis. I do everything myself, but you did pre-sales on Amazon. So let the people know what putting your book as a pre-sale on Amazon will do for your ratings and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you on Ingram Spark and Amazon KDP, you put it on as a pre-sale so people can purchase it up until, like, let's say that the book is going to come out February 1st, but it's available in pre-sale today. So all of the sales that day then show up on February 1st as sales for the book. That helps Amazon keep it in their warehouses so they don't have to print on demand once somebody orders it. So the book can get out and you're in prime shipping. And it shows towards your sales. So then Ingram Spark takes that and shares that with Barnes and Noble and all of the other distributors as well.
And you have reviews already, right?
And you get reviews. Yes, I have
Yes.
an author group right now that's reviewing my book. And so I send out an electronic copy to them for free. And all I ask is for an honest review in return. Yeah.
Reviews are important.
I mean,
if you don't have any reviews, try to get reviews.
Mm-hmm.
There's I don't know how I feel about ARC readers. ARC, ARC, I don't know how you say it, but
I call them ARC.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. Maybe pre-sale and try to get those reviews better.
And you can do both. Yeah. That's the beauty of it. You can,
Have you tried the ARC readers?
I have ARC readers right now.
Okay.
So I'm getting great feedback on the book.
Are you? Okay.
I have some questions that were given early on that I made as kind of frequently asked questions at the end of the book to answer some of the things people were asking about. So I got good feedback about what it did for kids and families.
Good. Okay. So again, this podcast was about wanting to write a book but don't know where to start. We have Tracy, who is from Miss Nebraska. And I'm from out of Dallas. I am your host. Tracy was our guest this week, and she has a book. She is a mental health therapist, and she has written a children's book called
Until Mama Comes Home.
That is pre-sale now.
Pre-sale in 2 weeks. Yeah,
pre-sale in 2 weeks, January 20th.
And available for sale, I think it's February 9th. Yep.
Oh, this is awesome. So Until Mama Comes Home. That's awesome. And her website is?
TracyLynnPearson.com.
TracyLynnPearson.com. And your book is about what?
My book is about a little girl named Luna, whose mom is going away, and kind of just how she's dealing with that sadness and lack of connection while mom's away, and how her grandma helps her through it.
Okay. Also, too, I have created a book club on bookclubs.com. It is for authors, writers, and wannabes. Gosh. Okay. Why not? Authors, writers, and wannabes. It is for us to review each other's book. So what we're going to do is on the 15th, I'm going to pick. So join this book club. It's on bookclubs.com. Okay. It's authors, writers, and wannabes. So Google that, not Google it, search within bookclubs.com and join. You can recommend your own book. Okay. Recommend your own book to read. We will read one book a month. If it's a children's book, we're going to read 2 a month. And we have to support each other by buying our books. Okay. Yeah. And then giving honest reviews. Okay. So that's how we're going to support one another. I want to create platforms for us, by us, so we can grow, What else? I have this podcast that airs live 7 p.m. Central Standard Time every Monday. I know it's Football Monday, but you can go back and listen on Spotify. You should be able to. So Spotify, just authors, writers, and wannabes. Google that. And then YouTube, my YouTube channel, and then Facebook Live, and then BS3 Network. I am on BS3 Network through StreamYard. So I'm not just going live on Facebook. Okay, I got a network and stuff, Let's see. So what else I got going on? Oh, I got a blog on my web. Go to my website, y'all. If you want to promote your book on the podcast, you can. If you want to go to noeltheauthor.com, that's NOELTHE author.com. Go to the podcast page. You can fill out the questionnaire to be a guest, like Tracy did today, for free. Okay. Or you can, if you don't want to be a guest, because I have to, or if you don't want to be a guest, if you want me to just read your book, you can send me your book and I will do a review on your book, do a 1-minute ad on your book on the podcast, and I'll let you know when that will air. But everything is on my website, noeltheauthor.com. Go to the podcast page. If you want to buy any of my books, of course, you can go to my noeltheauthor.com too, and I'll send you out a book. I'll even autograph it for you. And it'll come with a little sticker that says autograph copy, okay?
Oh, nice.
Hello? Oh, girl, you got to get you some little stickers.
I just thought of it. As soon as you said that, I was like, stickers, I'm about to order.
Yeah, girl, I went on Amazon because when I went to go to Barnes & Noble, I got to get off here. When I went to Barnes & Noble to sign my books before they put them on the shelf, they had the stickers that says author signed copy. And I was like, well, where did you get those stickers? They was like, do you not have any? I was like, no. But I'm going to get me some.
Absolutely.
So, girl, I ordered some and I put them on my books now, and just put a little, thank you for reading my book. I hope you like the read or something like that. And then I'll, personalize it with their name or something if they, buy it. Mm-hmm. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. And we will be back next week with Marketing 101, and I will have a different guest next week. Tracy, I do appreciate you coming online and sharing your story with us and sharing your insight and real advice and tips and all of that good stuff. So if you missed like half of this show, go back on. I will have it probably updated on Spotify in a couple of days. It should be on Roku. My YouTube channel should be on there. Or go back and look at the live on Facebook. Okay. Thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate it. Bye, y'all.